prepare for a golf tournament?
Well, I hit balls maybe 20 minutes, putt a little bit, smoke 4 or 5 cigarettes, drink 3 Diet Cokes, and go to the first tee. Some days I won't even go to the range.
Can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go, another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It's Wednesday, June 11th. Welcome in, kiddos. How is everyone on this wonderful Wednesday? We're inside the Limbach Lumber Studios. Contractors, they got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. They got the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. They got old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call at 206-782-3487. Visit them at limbachlumber.com. Coming up on the show today, the big unit. Oh, we've got audio and video, the big unit from yesterday. Randy Arozarena did something yesterday that we'll have to touch on. Travis Fulton, U.S. Open preview. Travis Fulton Golf, our golf coverage and U.S. Open coverage brought to you by Synthetic Turf Northwest. We'll talk to Travis coming up in about 10 minutes. John Canzano not on the show yesterday. He was at his daughter's graduation, but he's on today and should join the show around 10:45, 10:50 or so. And, of course, we wrap up the show with Hey, What the Puck. All right, you can follow me on all the social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky Puck Sports. Video clips, Puck_sports on TikTok, also on Facebook there, Puck Sports. Also, sign up, pucksports.com. Get your golf picks in for the U.S. Open if you haven't done so yet. Also, sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. You support all the free stuff we do here at pucksports.com. In addition, you get bonus shows as well, like Ryan Divish, our MLB Insider. You get Mitch Levy. You get the Sports Pit with Steve Sandmeyer and Matt Stretch Johnson, which those episodes drop every single Monday. But we love having this guy on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And he's got a brand new setup. The man is broadcasting from a she shed. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Moore, the go-to guy, with his brand new setup. I am all in. He's brought to you by.
It's not a she shed. What are you talking about? Look at this. It's a he shed.
It's a he shed.
What makes you think it's a she shed? I don't get it.
Well, that's kind of always the joke.
I know, but it's my he shed.
He shed.
I'm thrilled to be coming to you from my shed here in Bend, Oregon, brought to you by a Clean Streak professional window and exterior cleaning service out of Oak Harbor. They proudly serve the island and Skagit counties for more than 10 years. Brian Turner and his crew, they can do it all for you. They'll clean your roof. They'll clean your gutters. They'll wash your windows. And I'm going to be blowing my patio today. My mom's coming down tomorrow. I want it to look really nice for my mom. What? I'm going to be blowing my patio. I'm also going to be weed eating, and I'm going to be mowing the lawn here.
You take the patio out for a cocktail before you blow it? Jesus.
I knew you'd go down that road. What am I supposed to say? I'm going to fire up the blower and go out there and do things with my patio? I knew you would go down that road of a sexual innuendo. You always have to take that cheap shot, low road kind of shit, don't you?
Which dog is that in? Is that in off your right shoulder?
Oh, it's just I don't know. It's not any dog. Yeah. This is one of my dogs, though. See that one?
Yeah,
that's
is that
Willie.
River? Oh, that's
Willie. Yeah.
The go-to pup, Willie.
Yeah, the go-to pup. Yeah. But anyway, for a free estimate, call 360-395-5748. Brian, I apologize for my unprofessional read. Or visit cleanstreak.com.
Willie, your favorite dog of all time?
God, I don't know. You can't really. Yeah.
Yes, you can. You can. It's okay if you say it.
God, I don't know. They were all.
Maple's my favorite dog of all time. I got
one, two, three. Yeah, I had 3 golden retrievers: Willie, Murph, and River. And River's the weirdest one. He's just kind of I don't know. He's on the spectrum a little bit. But yeah, Willie, man. I mean, he went blind in his last year, and we went through a lot together. That you think about a dog it's your one constant in your life. And I was at that time with Willie, I was going through a bunch of moves, job changes, girlfriend changes, and you know who was there the whole time?
Willie.
Willie was.
Willie was.
It's like, hey man, where are we going tonight?
Yeah, okay. Best friend Willie. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I'm with you. Yeah. Well, you got Okay. we've got to get to this because there's nothing to talk about the Mariners game last night. They got clobbered, just terrible. It's just they're 6-14 in the last 20. They're now 33-33. Their third straight series loss. Tim Booth did the research. April 18th was the last time that they were 500. That was 10-10. They're terrible with runners in scoring position. They hit the ball hard. Their exit velocity was great, but they just hit it right to everyone. And so whatever. It just the game stunk. You know what sucked about it? This was the one night I've been able to, honestly, all year, because of baseball and other sports that I'm coaching, that I've been able to sit down and watch all 9 innings, like a complete 9-inning game.
What? So you're doing these podcasts every day without watching?
No, but I watch
game?
like the condensed game, or I'll fast forward through it like on demand. I'm just saying, from first pitch to the end, like uninterrupted, being able to sit and watch everything. And it just the worst. It was terrible. Just the game was awful. But I'm glad I did, because in the second inning, I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I'm like, oh, Randy Johnson's going to be on. Great. This would be fun. They're in Arizona. His number's retired. How's this interview going to go? And I'm watching it. And as it's unfolding, we get a text from our one of our favorites. Ian Furness is like, did you just see that? I'm like, you're damn right I just did. Randy Johnson, and he did it twice. So I got both. I've got the video and audio. So the video one, just to be, we'll share the video, the Root Sports one. You can't actually get the video of it because the Root Sports, they don't let you record the screen video of it.
You're like a dog with a bone when stuff like this happens, aren't you?
Oh, my God. But I get the audio, but I found the best picture, the still picture that goes along with Randy Johnson's appearance on Root Sports. So we're going to play the Root Sports one first. And
you're so proud of yourself.
Oh, I know. It was just, I couldn't stop laughing when this happened because he did it. He did it on their broadcast, on their TV and radio. It just went all in on Howard Lincoln. And then he does it with Riz on the radio. So this is first, we'll play Randy's appearance with Angie Mentink and Aaron Goldsmith on the Root Sports broadcast last night. And the interview was just, hey, how does it feel to have your number retired next season with the Mariners?
As we're joined by the one and only, the Hall of Famer, Randy Johnson. Randy, it's great to have you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're all excited to hear the news when we learned that next year your number 51 will be retired inside T-Mobile Park. Your number 51 is retired here inside Chase Field, so it'll be retired with 2 franchises. What a thrill. What was your reaction when you found out?
Well, it's been a long time coming, I think, and I think there's been a lot of gray area on the whole matter. A lot of people think one thing and something else and all of that. I mean, the fact of the matter is I'm happy that Kevin Martinez and John Stanton have made it a mission of theirs to make this happen, or at least present it to me. And I said the only way it would happen is if Ichiro could just have his day, and I don't have to, I'm not in a hurry to have it done. I can wait another year.
We will celebrate Ichiro this summer.
Absolutely.
And then celebrate you next summer.
No, and that's fine with me. That's fine.
No, I know it was a long time ago, but just thinking about everything that kind of Ichiro did over the course of his career, I mean, the big reason why he wanted number 51 was because of you.
Well, I think he wore number 51 in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. But what I took from that whole interaction was how respectful he is, and you watch like a lot of the Japanese players that played today's game, and they are super respectful to the game. And when Ichiro reached out to me in 2001, I think it was his first year in Seattle, I said, yeah, go ahead. You know, I didn't even think anything about it. And so that, I think the thing that was kind of like, I didn't have any answers, and a player should never expect anything. But I think the thing that bothered me was that if everybody, the fan base, was expecting me to go in.
Diving stop by Perdomo, and they get to Les at second base. That's all they'll get.
I think if they were expecting me to go in as a Seattle Mariner in the Hall of Fame, then why didn't Howard Lincoln circle back at some point when I retired to make me feel like, you know, my 10 years of contribution there, especially in 95 when I won the Cy Young 18-2 in the most important year to this point right now.
Sure.
You know, I just felt like that under his leadership, I felt the 10 years of my contribution were kind of swept under the carpet.
It's just amazing when you look.
And so, and then it's just over. And Angie's like, and God bless her, she didn't know what to do. She's like, I mean, stumbling all over her next question. I mean, I think I captured also the best still shot of it, of Aaron Goldsmith just looking into the camera like, and to steal your line, fuck me dead. Because I'm telling you, you didn't see it. They got a phone call from somebody within the organization to stop the interview. Because you know this, of all the years you've watched these interviews, they let the guest stay on through the entire inning. Well, they didn't let him stay on through the entire inning.
Well, yeah, that's one where
they got him off.
He said Howard Lincoln and the swept under the carpet remark. I'm sure that Angie and Aaron were sitting there going, God, I really would like to follow up with that. I mean, imagine all the things that were just rattling around in their minds at that point. And they had to figure out what to say next and what to do. And then you got a producer in your ear saying, okay, wrap it up. Wrap. That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
We're done.
That's a wrap.
We're done.
Yeah. And then Angie was probably thinking, oh my God, I want to follow that up in the worst way, but I want to keep my job too. And I just got this color analyst gig and I don't want to, ruin that. Oh God. You and I though, imagine that. Imagine if he'd been on the podcast or back at KJR, the whole rest of the interview would have been like, well, what specifically were your issues with Howard Lincoln, Randy? And then he would have been in the mood to just detail them. Well, I've got 12 of them. Where do you want me to start?
So again, and everybody knows this, you've watched this. They always, again, I'll repeat it, they always stay through the inning. The guest always does. And that was no. We're getting like somebody with that organization, front office, whoever it was, called Root right away or called whoever's putting it on. Get him off now. He's got to get off.
Okay, here's the thing, Puck. I know you're going to play the Riz one too, right?
Oh, the Riz one's even better.
Okay. Which do you think happened first?
The TV did. The TV.
Okay.
I think the TV happened first. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so why did they allow him to go on radio after what he said on TV?
I don't know. Maybe they just maybe it's two separate things, right? It's not under like the same. I mean, I guess it's under the same umbrella, but it's not like the people that run TV run radio. I mean, it's. So maybe they didn't know. I don't know. TV was first because people said I got like texts from people like 30 minutes later saying if you thought that was good, you got to go watch or listen to the radio. So he goes over from Root. We're getting Travis Fulton's in the background. Travis, hold on. We're going to get to you in a quick second, Travis. I know you're waiting. And you're a huge Mariners fan, so you'll love this. So then he goes on to radio with Rick Riz.
Here's the windup and the 1-0 to Gino. Swing and a pop-up into shallow right field. Cole Young going out. Coming in, Canzano. It is going to be Young, the second baseman, who makes the catch. And there's one away. Number one, Randy, it's great to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
See you, Rick.
You're in the Hall of Fame, Mariners Hall of Fame, and you're going to have your retired number, 51, retired next year. Ichiro's number 51 this year. What was your reaction when the Mariners gave you the call?
Well, John Stanton and Kevin have been working on this for a while. I was a little hesitant because I even felt like it's taken a long time, and I never had any answers why it didn't happen sooner with Howard Lincoln. I think the misconception is I left there. Well, no, I got traded. Big difference. I didn't leave. I wasn't a free agent. I got traded. And I don't even know why I was, traded. The year before in 97, I was 20-4, finished second in the Cy Young. So if there was any doubt that I was, old and broken down, then that should have, the next year, 98, when they traded me, that 97 should have solidified why I was healthy.
Well, we're going to put up number 51 for you at the ballpark. That will be there forever after Ichiro gets up there this year. Here's the pitch on the way to Gurriel.
Oh, Rizky couldn't get out of there fast enough. We're going to love it next year.
It'll be a beautiful day at the ballpark for you, Randy.
I look us. Hey, Randy, it's good to see you. Hi, Rick. So what do you think about your number being retired?
Well,
big thanks there to, of course, that's 710 ESPN Seattle, the home of your Seattle Mariners. And they once employed the go-to guy, Jim Moore, until someone thought that they are better than everyone else and fired him. And they made a grave mistake, but it was the best thing for us at KJR because we hired this talented man. Also, Root Sports, they're the TV broadcast. Big thanks to Root Sports and 710 ESPN. Gold.
Yeah,
absolute gold.
No, we were talking about it before the podcast started. I mean, are they going to allow him to go out and give a speech when his number's retired?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. Like, I don't know at this point now. I think it's safe to say, is he going to be allowed to talk next year?
Well, Kevin Martinez will have a chat with him and just say, hey, Randy, I understand you have hard feelings about what happened, but Howard's still a part of this organization. Is there any chance that you could maybe leave that out in your acceptance speech there at T-Mobile Park next year?
Yes, I think that would be a fair ask from the Mariners. Do you mind just not bringing up Howard Lincoln? This is supposed to be about you and celebrating you and your history with the Mariners. Your number, all of it. And if you bring that up, it's going to overshadow what should be a very special day.
Yeah, Randy has a different idea of what the turn of events were back then than we all were led to believe. Because I mean, you've read the stats before. He wasn't good in '98, and then he was great, like super great with Houston once he got traded.
Yeah, but
which leads you to believe that he wasn't really trying at his best before he left.
I understand that, and really the numbers would back up your opinion on that one. But you're saying that guy, the most dominant pitcher, maybe in baseball history, purposely tanked the season.
But how could that same guy you're talking about, I agree with you how terrific he was, but how could he have an ERA of 4 before he got traded that year? And then what was he? I mean, 10-1 with the Astros?
It's something
and
like
1 point something?
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not plausible. I'm just saying it's hard for me to get there that a guy like that, as competitive he is, would purposely tank a season. But I'm not saying that didn't happen. I don't know. I don't only he knows. But God, that was great. It would
have been so much fun to have an interview with him.
Best thing that happened last night. Yeah. Best thing that happened last night. All right. We'll have more on that. Let's get a U.S. Open preview. He joins us the Wednesday before every major this year. We had him on for the Masters, the PGA. Travis Fulton, former golf instructor, analyst at Golf Channel. He now hosts the Stripe Show podcast. Go check it out. It's great stuff. Golf instructor at the Travis Fulton Golf Studio, which when we bring him on, that's his studio at his home, by the way. TravisFultonGolf.com is the website. He will do virtual lessons, by the way. So if you'd like to get a virtual lesson from Travis, because he lives in Florida, but he's a PNW native, you can reach out to him at TravisFultonGolf.com. Also find his stuff on YouTube, Travis Fulton Golf. Again, he joins us every Wednesday to preview all the majors, all brought to you by SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com. Your dad, it's a Father's Day present gift to your dad because he's tired of the muddy backyard. He's tired of mowing his lawn. He's tired of watering his lawn. He wants his weekends back. Do your dad a favor, your husband a favor on Father's Day. No more socks and ties and a card that you just wrote. Give him a new synthetic lawn from Synthetic Turf Northwest and a putting green. And Travis Fulton joins us right now. Hi, Travis. How are you, sir? Sorry for the delay.
Hey, no problem. No problem. Always, always enjoy listening to another story of the Mariners ownership fumbling away. We can't even honor our all-time greats the right way, for crying out loud.
For people that don't know, Travis from the Pacific Northwest, huge Mariners fan. He texts me all hours of the night and the early morning, ranting and raving about the Mariners. And look at that. That's his studio, which is in the basement of his house.
No, it's not at my house. It's up the road. It's up the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, hey, Puck, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Why wasn't I born a golf instructor? Look at what he's broadcasting from.
Not too late.
And look at me here, Travis. I'm a podcast sidekick, and I'm in a damn shed.
You're in a shed. I'm in a little office space, and Travis is in a world-renowned space with a golf studio and simulator. And God, that looks like fun.
It is fun.
We're
jealous.
Travis. I mean, I want to be you, and Puck wants to be you.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I was at an elementary school making $18 an hour. I know what you charge an hour. There's a little bit of a difference there.
Hey, but still, despite what he charges, you, the viewer, listener, can get golf instruction from Travis, virtual golf instruction. So we could all use help.
It's nice. The putting green's always nice, but an online lesson might be nice for dad too. You never know.
Yeah. There you go. A perfect Father's Day present, Jim. If you were gonna get a Father's Day present for yourself, or someone's gonna get you a present, your kids are gonna get you a present. What would you want Travis to help you out with, specifically this week? And let's say you were playing Oakmont in the U.S. Open. What would you want Travis to help you with?
I just want simple things at this point. I'm going to be 68 here in a couple of weeks. I've lost distance. I don't transfer weight very well. My chipping, I get the yips on chipping. I was all excited about this guy. You see, there's a guy in the U.S. Open. I'm fired up for him. Austin Truslow. Remember that name? You know why, Travis? He chips one-handed.
Yeah.
And I've tried doing that too, And so anyway, I need help, and I'm embarrassed playing in front of my 21-year-old kids. And I still want to be, I want them to be proud of Dad's golf game more than they have been lately. What can you do, Travis?
Well, we can, what we should do. Here's an offer. We take Jim's swing. You said it to me. I'll do a lesson for free if he agrees that you can play it on the show.
Well,
part of it.
Of course, I'll agree. It looks horrible. It looks terrible.
Maybe for the next one, the Open Championship, we set it up with kind of, bits and pieces of Jim.
Sure.
Makes
it work easily. What would your he's good. What would your advice be? I thought the DP World Tour did a fabulous thing where and I'm sure you both have seen it, where they went and talked to all the golfers and they said, hey, if an 18 handicap played Oakmont, U.S. Open, that plays over 7,300 yards, 5-inch rough, what would they shoot? And I thought Jason Day was actually the one golfer that was the closest. I mean, I heard people, 110, 115, 120. I'm like, no way. They're shooting way over that. Jason Day said 150. I think he's right. I think 150 would be the score.
It's pretty close. I mean, I think the everyday slope from play is 78.1. So basically, like a tour player's about a +8 handicap, somewhere in there, +8, +9. So, they go out and shoot even par or shoot 72, right? And so if you're a scratch player and the slope is 78, I mean, you're going to be shooting 78. I mean, that's like par for you. So if you're, a 10 handicap, I mean, you're going to be shooting 88, 89, 90 out there and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, if you're if you're a 20 handicap and it's set up like the U.S. Open, which I don't even know what the slope is now on that. It's got to be much higher than everyday play because of the speed of the greens and the rough is heinous and the distance. Yeah, I'll say 130 to 140. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with 120. Yeah. Because if the same, what you're using there, if the rating is 78 and you're 10, you're shooting like a 90. And if you factor in the setup being more difficult, maybe 95 to 100. So if you're a 20, you're probably going to be in the 120 neighborhood. I like to think I'd shoot 120 or better.
No,
okay, 120.
You want to know why I disagree with you, and I agree with Day.
You never agree with me.
How many of these 18 handicaps ever finish out ever
That's just
finish
it.
out.
Yeah, you got to
Okay,
finish
that's
out
the thing.
because
They're not used to finishing out a hole. And
Right.
so they think their little, 1 foot putt, oh, it's a gimme, pick it up. No, you got to putt that. I think they'd get murdered on that course.
And if there's a course where you're going to lose strokes finishing out, it's here, Oakmont, because the slope of the greens is so severe and the speed is so fast that you just can't go out and kick one back from 3 feet if you're putting across the slope like these guys do. I mean, it's incredibly difficult golf course, obviously, but it's really, really difficult on the greens. I mean, I think these greens are more severe than Augusta.
Because they roll. How fast is it? Because they were saying, I read an article this week, Travis, the members like it at 14 on the step meter.
I think I was talking
how fast
with,
they like it.
Yeah, I got a couple notes from a couple of teachers on site, and they say it's no question the fastest they've seen, and I think the number is going to be 15. I think they'll probably play at about 15. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's like
15.
That's like the ice.
15 with slope. 15 with slope. I mean, these greens aren't flat by any stretch. I mean, the TV doesn't do slope justice on greens. You can't see it unless the camera's down, and so you really don't appreciate how much slope is on these greens from TV. I got a video a guy sent me. I'll send it over to you guys so you can see it, and you'll appreciate how much this ball is breaking. I mean, severity of slope, obviously a major factor in speed, but the other is the speed of the green. So you put the two together, man, I mean, you got to stretch the brakes so much, especially downhill. There's going to be some carnage, boys. There's no doubt about it.
Well, Travis, as good as these players are, though, what do you think the winning score will be at a course like that?
It depends how much it dries out. And I think, the forecast looks like it's going to dry out a little bit. I was listening to the guys on Golf Channel last night, and I think Paul McGinley was saying, hey, if the wind picks up and it dries out, we're going to get the +9, +10 wind. And I don't think it's going to be that high. They've had a lot of rain up there. And my guess from afar is even par right around there wins it.
Even par wins it?
Yeah, I think.
Well, it is. Do you think so? The 125th U.S. Open, it's going to play over 7,300 yards. Yeah. Do you think at times can they set it up in a way where it's too difficult? Jim and I were talking about this earlier this week, back on Monday, and I think Jim's contention is that, hey, I don't like watching it where they struggle so much. I don't want it like it's at Kapalua. I don't want them shooting 35 under, but I'd like to see them hit some good shots. Do you like how the U.S. Open does it, where they make it very penal? You think it's too much?
Yeah, look, when I was young, growing up in the Pacific Northwest, the U.S. Open was number one for me. Just how big, how grand it was. I liked the way the tournament played. Of course, you had Augusta.
Story about Jim's dog. He's just losing his mind.
That's River. He knows how tough the course is going to play. He's pissed. You're going to hear a whole lot of barking from the players. Let me tell you, after Thursday, Friday, when they're +17. But the U.S. Open for me has always been number one, and I thought they lost their identity there for quite some time, and they made it play easier, and they kind of, I think made too many changes to what made the U.S. Open what it is, and what it is it's the most difficult test in golf. So I think they pushed the limits. I think it makes a lot of people upset. Is it the best brand of golf for the audience to watch? Probably not, especially in today's mindset of offense that we see in professional sports. So, how long can they hold on to this from the pressure out externally, I think is a real question. But for one day a week on a golf course like this, I'm fine with it. I like to see limits pushed, and I like to see guys, get pushed on their heels and see how they respond to that, the adversity, because most of golf, look, in professional golf, there is no rough. It's not penal enough. It rewards bomb and gouge, and you can't do that at the U.S. Open. So I like it.
Hey, Travis, this is the 10-year anniversary from when the U.S. Open was held at Chambers Bay. I can't believe it's been 10 years since that happened. We all remember what it was like there, and it was just so hot and dry and people falling all over the place and that kind of thing. But what do you think Chambers Bay will ever get it back? Or was that just kind of a stain mark? Everybody has kind of some bad memories about that event that year.
And I would, if I was a betting man, I'd probably say no. Understanding how the USGA works. I think the USGA is going to probably play it close to the vest with some of these cathedral-like types of facilities that they know it works. And so I think they'll probably play it closer to that vest. I can remember that tournament like it was yesterday watching it, obviously, because Chambers Bay, which I've played a couple of times. And I still can't believe Dustin Johnson lost that tournament. Now, I know he won the next year at Oakmont, which was last year the U.S. Open was played here. But that drive he hit on 18 on the 72nd hole to this day was still one of the best drives I've ever seen. And just under the gun, he stepped up on 18 and he just absolutely obliterated down the middle. And then the second shot, and then I don't know if you can remember, but he missed that little short putt to win it, and then went to the playoff with Spieth, and Spieth wins it. And I can't believe after that drive, Dustin Johnson lost that tournament. I still can't believe it. And then he comes back and wins at Oakmont. But yeah, that was awesome to see a major tournament in Seattle. It's cool.
Yeah, it was unfortunate of all the drama leading up to that week, and then during the play, it really was robbed of one of the greatest finishes in major history with Spieth coming back. His shot, I think I can't remember if it was 17 or 16, that the long putt he drained, and then he gets to 18, and he hits they both hit incredible shots and incredible second shots into that 18th green. So yeah, it's never coming back. I mean, they'll do the amateur stuff there, but the major one there, it's never coming back. It would have already done it by now. And they like Pebble, and they like Oakmont and Shinnecock and Pinehurst, and they just want the old school courses. Who do you like this week? I mean, obviously Scheffler, DeChambeau, Rory, Xander's going to be up there. Maybe a Morikawa, Justin Thomas, but obviously the heavy favorite is going to be Scheffler. I saw this morning that at plus 275, he's the biggest favorite to win the U.S. Open since Tiger back in 2009. Bethpage.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we've reached that point with Scheffler. He's that good. He's got no weaknesses. He's the best driver in the game, and that includes Rory. He's the best iron player. His putting has improved significantly. I think he's a top 30 putter in the world now. His short game, at times hasn't been quite as crisp, but for Scotty's standards, it's still pretty damn good. I think one of the things to consider at Oakmont is the short game and the rough so difficult that it just kind of neutralizes great short game players. That's the question I have. Like, it's just so hard that it almost maybe takes some of the skill out and some of the shots that other guys know how to play better than others. And so, I'm having a hard time weighing the short game and maybe even putting to some degree. I think, with that said, when you think of U.S. Open, you think, well, we got to have a long ball hitter. But you go back to when Dustin won, you look at the guys behind him, there's a lot of plotters that played very well at Shinnecock. A lot of guys that don't hit it far. Jim Furyk finished second. Scott Piercy finished second. David Lingmerth. I mean, these guys don't overpower anything. And so I think it's fairways. I think it's greens. And I think it's just hanging in there mentally. You're going to make a double bogey probably. You're going to get beat up at some point. And is the short game neutralized? So I think with all that said, I mean, you got your big names. I've bet John Rahm. I think Rahm's playing great golf. Rahm's won a U.S. Open. Rahm and Bryson are the two guys, and Joaquin Niemann, who from LIV have maintained their level of play. And so I'm gonna bet Rahm. And I'm really I think I'm going to bet Cantlay at the top of the board. Or sorry, not Cantlay, but Morikawa at the top of the board. And so those are my two guys up top. Outside of the obvious, give me a little bit of those two.
Hey, Travis, what do you think? Rory seems to have fallen out of favor. I mean, all the hoopla for him winning the Masters and finishing with the career Grand Slam there. But he's 12-1, and no one seems to like him this week.
Yeah, I'd stay away from Rory. I mean, I think you just look at his press conference. He looks gassed. He looks. I mean, hard to relate to someone who's just won the Grand Slam and all that coming off your shoulders. And he didn't play good in Canada, missed the cut. And he doesn't seem like Rory, Jim, to me right now when I listen to him. It's crazy. You know, these guys, it's crazy that Rory wins the Masters, right? And this is how fickle golf is. He wins the Masters. He's on top of the world. He wins the Grand Slam. And then he switches his driver, right? He switches his driver. And now he's kind of, you know, fumbling around with his swing, him and his caddy down in West Palm, you know, working it out. Now he's got his old driver back in the bag that he won the Masters. It's like, why in the hell did you take it out of your bag to start with? I thought he had to switch. He had to get rid of it though, because they deemed it. Yeah, but it was a different setup. You know, they did a couple different things to the other driver, and it wasn't exactly like the same setup. But it's just funny how, you know, you make changes. But for him, I think it's emotional, Jim. I think it's energy. He's going to have to reset at some point and reestablish the goals and get back on it again. But I don't like him this week.
I think of last week I saw where he played a practice round there and he shot an 81 there in the practice round. Morikawa, a lot of people like Morikawa, accurate off the tee, doesn't have crazy distance. I love when they say the guy doesn't have good distance. Like he ranks as one of the worst players in driving distance. It's like 296 yards.
I don't think you need distance. I think distance always is an advantage, but you don't need to be a long ball hitter here. You don't. I think you got to play from the fairway. And, you know, like a Corey Connors is a plotter. Corey Connors is going to be in the top 20. I mean, he is going to hang in there. He's not going to get himself out of position. Collin Morikawa, when he is going, he does not get out of position. Those are the kind of guys that I want. I think Rahm can play that way. That's why I'm kind of leaning that way. And I'll give you another name that not a lot of people are talking about, but he's a good U.S. Open player, and he doesn't have many weaknesses, is Harris English. And that's a guy that I would that I would lean into a little bit if you're looking for some odds and you're like, yeah, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on this guy.
He's got the right temperament. He never is up and he's never too high and never too low when you watch him play golf.
Yeah. I like Harris. I think Harris is a guy to think about. Well, let's see.
I don't know if you can see that or not, but I got $12 on Harris English at 100 to 1.
You don't get credit for Harris English. You want to know why you don't get credit?
I already wrote it before Travis said what he said.
But you write down, you bet on 20 golfers.
I bet on 17 this week.
Yeah, that's just you don't get credit.
I got a couple bucks on. I got a couple bucks on the local guy, Joe Highsmith. $2, 600 to 1. Let's go, Joe. Lefty Joe, come on.
I love what you said. You just talk about Rahm. I want to just piggyback quickly on Rahm and talk about all this top 10 finishes that he's had on the Live Tour. I like him acknowledging this week where he's like, but let's be honest. If I'm in a full field, like on the PGA Tour, I'm not finishing top 10 all these tournaments. I just like that he acknowledged that.
Yeah.
And said, listen, that's the reality of it. But I like that. I like John Rahm's in a good place. He's been playing better for sure.
I think so. I think Rahm's poised. Would he be the most popular win? Probably not. No. But I mean, the guy's built for the U.S. Open. I mean, he is, and so I'll take him. Him and Scotty down the stretch would be some pretty good television.
Yeah.
Hey, Travis, I'm not a big fan of number 8. I'm in a par 3 that's 289, and it might play as long as 301. I saw one of those drone shots of the hole going over the hole. I'm telling you right now, if I played that hole, that turnpike is in play for me. There's a damn freeway right along that hole that parallels the hole. I'd slice it out there and probably, do some damage to a windshield. But I just don't understand why they don't make that just a par 4. It's fun when there's a reachable par 4, and yet because it's a U.S. Open, they're going to okay, we'll see how tough you guys are, making you hit a 300-yard shot and get out of there with a 3. I don't get it.
Well, I think that's part of the mental aspect of why they do it, because they want to challenge you mentally, and so they want to get in your head, and I think that's why they leave it the way they do, because it's a par 3 and it gets in there. That's going to affect some and it's not going to affect others. So I think that's where they push the limits. That's a good example of it, and where the mental aspect starts to be pushed that the USGA wants and is part of their DNA.
Travis, good stuff. Hey, for people that want virtual lessons, And find out more information, what you do at Travis Fulton Golf. Give them all the details, please.
Yeah, it's there, TravisFultonGolf.com. You can get some online lessons there. And then you mentioned the Stripe Show podcast. It was a cool podcast this week. We actually just launched it today with Lucas Wald, who is a great teacher out in California. And he was kind of a part of the transformation of Bryson's game as well. He's good friends with Chris Como, who worked with Bryson. And when Bryson went down that path of distance, Lucas was behind the scenes, kind of the orchestrator of that. So it's a good listen on how Bryson took his game from when he was in college to where he is now as the defending champ.
There he is, Travis Fulton. Again, Stripe Show podcast. Find that podcast wherever you find all of your podcasts. Visit the website, TravisFultonGolf.com. YouTube show there as well, Travis Fulton Golf. His appearances during the Majors Week brought to you by SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com. Tired of that muddy backyard? It's a great Father's Day gift to you, a new lawn, new putting green. Do it today for your father. Synthetic lawn installation, custom turf installation, and they do golf greens there as well. Visit SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com. Travis, you're the best. Appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you at the Open Championship.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Jim, send me that swing. Let me look at it, and then we'll get it up on the for the viewers to see if they agree on the direction I take you.
Okay, sounds great. And I got one last thing for you. I got $20. Somebody finishes in red figures and wins. You said even.
Who's it going to be? Oh, I got.
Well, I don't know who it's going to be. I'm just going to say that somebody will be in red figures that wins the tournament.
Put $20 on if they -1. Yeah.
Well, okay, and you're saying even will win it.
I say even. I'm going even. But
okay, $20.
One under's right there. Yeah, I'm going even.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Travis.
Yeah. Hey, Travis. I think it's going to be in the plus category.
Do you?
Yeah. Did you see the video of Hatton playing his practice round, trying to find his ball?
I did. Yeah.
Couldn't find it. Couldn't find his ball. He stepped on it, I think. And they've got people out there spotting it. Yeah. He still couldn't find it.
Can you imagine him trying to keep his cool for 72 holes? Terrell Hatton.
Oh, not gonna happen.
He'll lose it on number 2.
Not going to happen. There is a I don't know if you follow the golf guys, the Barstool golf guys. You follow those guys at all?
I don't, but I've heard of them, and I know that they do some crazy stuff, right?
So they went and played it. I don't know how long ago. It's not pretty. I think within the last few weeks they played it, and they played it from the tips. Played their own ball. And they just released the video today. I haven't watched the full thing, but I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna watch it after the show today. But just
it sure helps when you have a spotter out there to find your ball.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because if we were just gonna play, you name any course, trying to find your ball in the rough sometimes.
Now also this, you would have a spotter going back to that 18 handicap. What would they shoot there? You think around 120. I'm gonna go with Days 150. I think what's the maximum number of balls you can have in your bag? Is it 12? I think it's 12.
Is
so you have to play. I think
wasn't aware of that.
So you'd lose 12 balls.
Wait a minute. If you have a spotter, you're going to get around with 12 balls.
Okay. Maybe.
It's not like some of the courses we play in the Northwest where you're going to go OB.
Okay. I think there's a chance you could lose.
Can you go OB there? I don't.
You mentioned that you mentioned the 8th hole, the par 3. You can hit it to the freeway.
Have you seen shots of that?
Yeah,
I was surprised to see that. I mean, there is a freeway right next to that hole.
There's also a hole. I want to say I think it's 9, where the green is so big. Have you seen this? The green is so big.
It's part of the putting green, isn't it?
It's part of the practice green. Yeah. I've never heard of this, and it's in play. It's a local rule. People going out to the first tee can be on that green practicing putting. Meanwhile, guys are flying shots in there at 9. And if the ball's in play, if it goes over there, you play it where the practice green is. Or if it goes into the hole of one of the multiple practice green holes, you got to take it out and you get a drop. I've never heard of that.
No, I haven't either, but it's such a big practice green. I mean, you would have to overshoot it by 50 or 60 yards, wouldn't you? That green's huge.
Yeah, somebody may. Just going back to revisiting the Randy Johnson, which was just great. We played in the beginning of the show. If you're coming in late, the dual interviews with Root Sports and then 710. Do you think he'll have the talk? Do you think he won't mention it when he does the speech next year?
Well, yeah, somebody will get to him because they'll just say, "Hey, Randy, we want you to be you. We want you to be candid," but that was being a little too candid. And in this situation, in that environment, it's going to be Randy Johnson weekend. All weekend, we'll be giving out bobbleheads. We really don't need any criticism of Howard Lincoln when you're out there giving your speech to the fans.
We would like for you to please just take it easy.
And I think he respects Kevin Martinez so much that he'll do it.
I'm with you on that one. I think you're probably right. Have you seen now? Did you watch the Gurriel home run yesterday? Did you see Randy Arozarena?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about Randy.
So people have not seen this. Of course, Gurriel hits a home run to left field, and Arozarena basically just looks at it and gives no effort to a ball that honestly barely went out. Here's for people who haven't seen it. Here's the play we're talking about.
Lourdes launches one, and there it goes. Goodbye, Gurriel. Number 10 for Lourdes, and it's 3-0. I thought that ball was going to go much deeper into the seats the way Arozarena reacted out there in left field. He never moved. That ball was only one row deep into the seats out there.
So what do you make of Arozarena's attempt on that ball? It's not the first time he's done that, given that type of effort. He's done that quite a few times. That ball, as the announcer there for the Diamondbacks said, that barely was over the wall.
Well, it's the same game too. Well, no, wait, it was the game before. I forget. Anyway, Corbin Carroll hit the ball Cal Raleigh had a home run taken away
on a play
last night. Okay,
last night it was in the third inning.
And so that could have been a play that Arozarena could have made on that ball to at least make the effort. And that ball wasn't necessarily going to go in the stands. That it seems like the fence kind of juts out down there a little bit, goes a little farther out. And what if the ball had been a little farther to the left? Then it would have ricocheted off the wall, and he would have given up a triple instead of a double. Yeah, Randy's
he's a mad player.
I like him. I enjoy his hands crossed, his arms crossed, all that when he does that. And it's just he doesn't always give maximum effort. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
And that's one where he should have given even half-assed effort, and he wouldn't have taken the criticism. Goldsmith even criticized him for it on the broadcast.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, in a nice way, of course.
Sure.
It's like that could have been bad news for Randy Arozarena if that ball.
Just, it's on top of that effort that, when he steps out of the box on a ball that's right down the middle.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I'll tell you, Puck, I think we'll agree.
Polarizing player, man.
We'll agree on this. That A's center fielder would have caught that ball.
But I don't know if he catches it, but I think that the problem that people, and it's, who cares if we have a problem, right? We're stupid fans. But those guys, those 25 other guys on that team, Cal Raleigh and Logan Evans and the pitching staff, they should have a problem with that effort. Julio Rodriguez should have a problem with that effort. And if somebody didn't pull him aside after the game and be like, what are we doing? Like, yeah, it's going to go out. Maybe you don't catch it, but you got to give an effort. If somebody didn't do that, and I suppose somebody did, and my expectation would be it was Cal Raleigh that did it, you got to have that just can't happen. That stuff can't happen at all.
No, it's one thing if it's a no-doubter and it's going 450 feet, but that wasn't a no-doubter.
If it's Aaron Judge, did you see Aaron Judge's home run yesterday in Kansas City?
I did not, but if it's one that Aaron Judge hit, you probably can stand there and you're not going to be criticized.
It was a 462 feet.
Yeah. No. I did hear something, though, I took exception to on the Puck Sports podcast yesterday. You're going out of your way to rip on Dom Canzone. You don't like Dom Canzone.
I don't like him.
You just don't. He hits a 450-foot home run that tied the game And he's like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking, I mean, you're not okay with that?
Listen, I know I'm in the wrong. I don't like him. That's just me. I don't like Dom Canzone. I just don't like him. He acts as if he's a 10-time All-Star every time he plays.
Okay,
I just
fine.
don't. And that's him. I understand the emotions of hitting that home run. And then he barks at the home plate umpire in the 11th inning when he strikes out. I know it's a bad pitch. He was right. It was a bad pitch. But he acts like that all the time. And he's a 4A player. He's a 4A player.
Okay.
Is he not?
Well, you might be right on some of those things you're saying. I'm just saying, okay, how about this? Let's see if you'll agree with this. Wouldn't you rather have a guy that acts like Dom Canzone that's like, hey, man, I've been in Tacoma and I should be here. I should be here. Maybe you don't think I should be here, but I think I should be here, and I'm going to own this moment. Sure. And maybe I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, but I'd rather have a guy be cocky as hell that he's going to perform to a certain standard than to have some guy get up there going, God, I hope I belong here.
You're right, and you are right, and the majority of you are right. I'm in the minority. No one agrees with me. He rubs me the wrong way. I'm
just going to be the president of his fan club now.
Good.
Now that I know this about you, and then by the end of the year, I want to see if you'll be a member of the Dom Canzone fan club.
Sure, I'll go
because
down to,
this is
I'll
a team.
This
is a team that needs a starting right fielder.
Sure, I'll go down to Tacoma with you to watch him, because that's where he'll be in about a month when Luke Raley comes back. That's where he'll be. In Tacoma.
Wasn't he in that trade with Arizona? Wasn't he like the big piece that you were
thinking?
Oh,
like Dom Canzone is some unbelievable player. He was in Tacoma all year long. They thought so much of Dom Canzone. They went on, got and paid $3.5 million for Leody Taveras.
I'm just sticking up for Dom Canzone because you were trashing on him, okay? And I just yeah. And that was a magical Mariner moment, wasn't it? What he did.
It was highlights of the year.
Yeah,
that led to a loss. Yeah.
God.
All right, go get River. We'll talk to you on Friday.
Okay, Puck. Love you, buddy. Go Cougs.
Yeah, go Cougs. There he is, Jim Moore, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let's get to him right away, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't have him yesterday. He was on assignment for his family. John Canzano now joins us. JohnCanzano.com. He joins us from wonderful Portland, Oregon. Of course, you can read of all of his work at JohnCanzano.com. You can also listen to him on the Bald Face Truth radio program there in Portland, Oregon, 750 The Game. Yep. He joins us every week, normally on Tuesdays, but he had important family matters yesterday. Graduation went well.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Doing great.
So all right. I'm torn on this term graduation because yesterday was the 5th grader who is moving up, getting promoted to middle school, they called it at her school getting clapped out. All right. So it's a big deal. It went well. It's great. Later in the week, Friday and Saturday, we've got our college senior graduating. So I consider high school and college legit graduations. I do encourage people to celebrate everything, but I'm not sure if going from 5th grade to middle school, do we call that a promotion or do we call that a graduation? But it was a good day for the family.
Yeah, I don't like it, any of it. We go through the same thing here. There's to me, there's 2 graduations, right? There is, I can even get behind. I do kind of like the I think it's kindergarten to first or preschool to kindergarten. That's a good one.
That's a milestone.
But high school and college.
Yeah. But the whole thing is, and I've got daughters, so I specialize, 3 daughters. So the whole thing as a girl dad is you want your daughters to be confident and feel like they're ready. And like everything I do is predicated on, I've read all these books, I've studied, I've talked to other girl dads. Everything is predicated on trying to get them in that position where you can see that they're walking with confidence. And I'll tell you what got me at this 5th grade thing. Her teacher got up on the stage and was talking to all the 5th grade classes. And the teacher said, you're ready for, what's coming next, middle school. And I looked over at my daughter who was across the room and she nodded, Puck. Like she was like, yeah, I got this. And I was like, all right, got glassy eyes, but I think I'm with you. Like, I don't like celebrating everything. Like, this should a graduation. Let's send out announcements. No, you can't do that. But, get the kid an ice cream cone and say, hey, great job. You've been promoted.
Yeah, I don't mind that. All right. Grant of rights. What do we know? What's the latest with the Pac-12 right now? I mean, I saw the story and I'm thinking,
and
it says 8 members. I'm like, I'm forgetting about Gonzaga. I'm thinking, did they add an 8th football member? What did I miss? But what for those who don't know, been caught up in other things like elementary graduations, promotions. What's the latest with the Pac-12 right now with their conference and then also their media rights deal?
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. In order for the Pac-12 to go out to media partners and formalize the media rights deals, they have to have the schools that are going to be part of the conference sign off and basically sign over their grant of rights. So they're granting their media rights to the conference. So then the conference can then package together all 8 schools and presumably the 9th school that they're going to add and go out and sell it to the marketplace. Now, they probably have already negotiated those deals and it's a formality, but they have to have those signed documents. So, the news this week, probably a bigger story on social media than anywhere else, is that those documents got formalized. I'm also told that the long form document, which was the actual Pac-12 membership agreement, was signed as well. So initially when Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State, Colorado State, and Gonzaga joined, they just signed a term sheet. And so now this long form contract really does include things like, hey, here's your penalty for exiting early. And here's, everything that goes into it. So I'm curious to see the terms of these deals when I can get my hands on those documents. But both of those forms are signed. Yesterday morning at 7 a.m., the new look Pac-12 presidents and athletic directors all jumped on a Zoom call for 90 minutes. I happened to be communicating with a couple people who were on the call during the meeting. So it was really interesting to kind of get the flow of the meeting. They started off really getting a media rights update. I believe that they've got their primary flagship cornerstone partner in place. I think that may be the first piece that we get news on, is that they come out and say, look, here is the primary partner for our media deal, 2026 and beyond. And then the other layers, we saw the 2025 deal with Oregon State and Washington State, very layered with the CW and CBS and ESPN getting a couple games. I expect that this deal in the new look Pac-12 is going to include like 3, 4, 5 partners. It should be layered like that, but there will be a primary partner who is sort of the tent pole of it. And there seems to be some enthusiasm about who that partner is. And it gets me thinking, like, could it be ESPN or somebody like that? Because it's really one of the entities that I start thinking about, like, what would really move the needle. And of course, Boise State and Gonzaga both have this pre-existing relationship with ESPN and basketball and football that is very interesting. And so I would expect that to continue. I also was told later in the meeting yesterday, about, an hour into the meeting, the conversation pivoted to expansion. And so it kind of gives you an idea of where the conference, what they're thinking about. Like it's media rights and then expansion right on the heels of it. Also, though, I feel like UNLV is the geographic fit for the Pac-12, but I am being told that things are cooling on the UNLV front for the Pac-12. They're still on the list, Puck, but UNLV seems to have this sense that it's in line for a Big 12 invitation someday. And do they have to go to the Pac-12 to get this Big 12 invitation? Maybe they're negotiating, but it seems to have turned off some of the Pac-12 proponents that were sky high on the geography of UNLV before. And they're going, okay, wait a minute. We want to have you, but not if you think you're all that. Like, give me a break. Like the Big 12's talked to Gonzaga and it's talked to Oregon State and Washington State at different points. UNLV and the boosters there seem to think, with an NFL stadium and the hires they made in football and basketball, that maybe they're punching above their weight. I don't know, but it feels to me like UNLV is becoming less likely as a option for the Pac-12 here in expansion, unless something changes. There is an eye on Texas right now. I think the Pac-12 knows it can get Texas State. I think it's seeing Texas State as a possible 8th member in football, and then maybe looking for member number 9 or member number 10 as a football only addition. Now, 9 or 10, those football onlys could come in the state of Texas as well and provide, another game in Texas. It could be University of Texas, San Antonio. It also could be somebody like Memphis. And I know that there's some enthusiasm for Memphis still in the Pac-12 footprint. I have not heard much in the way of Tulane. So it feels to me that if Memphis joins the Pac-12, it would be in a football or football and basketball only scenario. And it leaves a question as to where the rest of those programs would play. But right now, I think that's what the Pac-12 is thinking. I think it's looking at Texas State going, this could be our only move. I was told yesterday by somebody on the call that they expected it would be only one full-time addition unless something changes. So it could be Texas State and then, hey, do you want to play football in the Pac-12? That doesn't knock UNLV out. Maybe UNLV comes back and says, hey, we want to play football in the Pac-12. Because I think the Pac-12 is positioned, Puck, to be the number 5 conference, the clear-cut number 5 conference in the country.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. I mean, Texas State to me, and again, it's not disrespect to Texas State fans or alums or any of that. It's underwhelming to me. I just don't. It doesn't fit the geography of the conference to be in Texas. But I guess if that's their only option, that's their only option. But I just don't see a lot of enthusiasm for Texas State, and it appears that it's like now it's them or no one.
Well,
that they have to get them.
I think there could still be a UNLV angle here, and I think Memphis is interesting still. But Texas State does get you playing football games in Texas. And I think, and that maybe that's all, but I know one of the schools that really did sort of support the idea of Texas State is Boise State. And it's interesting to me that Boise State would say hey, we'd like to go play games in Texas. And I don't think they're alone. I think there are others. And so I think if Texas State is the only viable option, the Pac-12 may just add one and then go out and say, hey, we'll play football only against UTSA. We'll add you as another school to round out the schedule because now you have, you don't have the extra non-conference game that you have to go find. And so I think there's an angle there. Texas State also provides a financial advantage in that they're not going to hold you hostage. There's no ransom here for them to join. They're in the Sun Belt Conference. They've played at the top of the Sun Belt Conference. When you look at their collective sports, president at Texas State tweeted out something about, is there beavers in the river yesterday? So I thought that was really interesting. I kind of like him. He's a character. But for those of us who don't know Texas State, I did a little bit of research and, they've got a huge fan base. They've got a lot of students on that campus. They played a game in San Antonio, a football game in San Antonio. They drew like 45,000 fans there. It was an interesting addition. They have no proof of performance. So if you're Washington State and Oregon State, you're not really worried about them coming in and beating you. They're just coming in to round out your conference. And maybe that's enough right now for a Pac-12 that, Puck, the options are UNLV if you want to overpay and play that game. Memphis if you want to travel, and not everybody wants to travel with all their non-football sports, or maybe Texas State that provides them with, the best bottom line answer.
Yeah, I mean, if you're telling me between Texas State and Memphis, I guess from a travel standpoint, I guess you go with Texas State. And a notable alumni from Texas State is George Strait.
There you go.
So if you're into that, George Strait, that'd be good. I think UNLV is interesting just because I could see, it feels like the Big 12 AD Yormark has made it his mission to try and just sever this conference.
Yeah.
And the last move that he would do, even though maybe he doesn't even want UNLV, but they already have that presence in Vegas anyways, would be, you know what? They really want UNLV. I'm going to take it from them.
Yeah.
We don't really want it, but I'm going to take it from them.
Or leave UNLV in limbo and effectively keep the Pac-12 from getting the strength that it needs to pull closer to the Big 12, right? Because that's the aim. Early on, Scott Barnes, the Oregon State AD, one of the first questions I had for him as the Pac-12 was going to reconstitute was, what's the goal? And the goal was to get as close to the Big 12 and the ACC as possible and close that gap. And so if you're Brett Yormark, look, I also think, he liked Gonzaga, but he didn't love Gonzaga. And, he kept them in a flirtation over several months, maybe even a year and a half, where Gonzaga was kind of in limbo and finally just said, hey, we need to make a move, and the Pac-12 is offering, you're not offering. And I think UNLV might be in that same boat, Puck, where they're like, hey, we've talked with the Big 12. Maybe we're an option for the Big 12. And you've got, the Big 12 whispering in their ear, do you really need to go to the Pac-12 to get to us? That keeps UNLV out of the Pac-12 and maybe affects the strength of schedule within the Pac-12 a little bit, because Texas State clearly is not as good as UNLV in football.
I'm going to ask this question, and I hate, pinning you down on timelines and all that, because then people always come back, well, you said it was going to be in July, and then it didn't happen then. But with this, your best guess from those you talked to in the conference, the media rights deal, I mean, it seems like that's happening soon, but adding another full-time member for football, they want it done by when?
Well, the window for this mediation with the Mountain West closes on July 15th. So, they'd have to go back to the court and get the judge to give you another stay to extend mediation. So it feels like to me that the mediation piece of this needs to get done by the second week of July. Okay. I think this expansion and media rights thing is going to happen before then. So I'm saying under on July 15th, right? But I also, look, I was looking at March 15th, not that long ago. And I think one of the things that people need to keep in mind is that some of this is a moving target. And if UNLV is really who they want, they may be willing to stretch it out closer to July 15th and try to end that mediation with the Mountain West with an advantageous position or leverage on UNLV, meaning that UNLV is counting on the money that may not be there in order to continue to move forward. But, I was told yesterday that, they got updates in that meeting yesterday morning. That was a meeting that was on the books for a while, but the presidents and the ADs were both on that call for all the conferences. And I'm told that this piece of the media rights, the cornerstone, that was the word that was used, the cornerstone partner, that's going to be, I think, the first piece that we're going to see from the media deal. I think we're going to get a big announcement that, hey, this network is coming in. That's the cornerstone for football and basketball. And I just don't see them announcing that unless they were really excited about who that partner is. Because if they come out and they go, hey, the Bravo is the partner for football and they're the cornerstone partner, everyone's just going to trash them. So I kind of think that cornerstone partner is going to be somebody who's in the space and brings them some glow. Hey, so I think that comes first, but it doesn't feel to me that this is all very far away. I think these dominoes are going to start falling here in the coming days.
Would they ever revisit Air Force?
The prevailing opinion on Air Force is that you love the Air Force's brand if you can have them alongside Army, Navy, and package the armed services. So I think everybody believes that Air Force is going to end up in the American alongside those other armed forces schools. But that's why Tim Pernetti, the commissioner of the American, is following the Mountain West Pac-12 mediation very closely, because I think he's looking over there going, hey, is there an opportunity for us there?
Well, I would be in favor. I mean, again, Texas State probably is going to be the likely one, but how about Hawaii? I mean, think of the fans.
You just want to go to Hawaii.
Well, of course. Yeah. Who doesn't want to go?
You can still go to Hawaii, Puck. You go on a vacation. You don't need to be there seeing a football
That's fair.
Game. But here's the thing. I yesterday I put it out. I said it could be a Texas two-step. It could be Texas State. It could be UTSA. And people were underwhelmed by that. Oh, it's a failure. Oh, this is no good. But you have to put yourself in the shoes of the 7 or 8 members of the Pac-12, whether you're considering football or not. And you have to ask yourself, hey, if you're San Diego State, would you rather overpay for UNLV? And I got to tell you, the 5 Mountain West schools that joined the Pac-12, I think are kind of over UNLV. There's some annoyance there with how UNLV carries itself. It's above everybody else. So I think there's some sentiment there that is hey, if you don't want to be part of this conference, we're moving on. And by the way, putting Texas State, nobody's worried about Texas State winning the conference. And so it's just more to fill it out and make the bottom line work.
For those, I mean, this can be a complicated issue. And even for someone like myself who's been following it, for months, and, you start reading about, Congress testimony and the House time, it can get overwhelming.
Yeah.
Dumb it down for me and others. The House settlement that just came down last Friday means what for college football and what for like Oregon State and Washington State?
Well, it means that the haves are going to have more, and they're going to have a bigger advantage than they've ever had because they can spend at the top of the $20.5 million in that they're capped with revenue sharing. It also means that, for people don't confuse this, that cap of 20.5 million does not include NIL. There's an NIL piece to this House settlement, but it's this new commission that is going to sort of be the clearinghouse for NIL deals, that it's supposed to keep NIL deals to being legitimate NIL deals. Like, you can't go in and say, I'm getting $500,000 to turn on the sprinklers. You have to have like a market value. Now, I expect there to be lawsuits on that front. I expect there to be lawsuits on the Title IX front. I expect that athletes are going to continue to sue for extra eligibility. Hey, I went to community college. Why? I didn't have a chance to earn NIL. I should get those years back. I think all that stuff is going to be part of what we see, in the future here. But, as much as I want to declare that this is bad, because there are some bad things here, Olympic sports are going to get hammered. They're not going to be funded in the same way football and men's basketball are funded. You're going to see potential Olympic development programs sprout up, because I just don't see how our universities can continue to, put out great track and field athletes and swimmers and divers and wrestlers while not funding the programs. So you might see some development programs from the United States Olympic Committee pop up. But I also think, Oregon State and Washington State in particular seem to support this settlement, because the Pac-12 was a named defendant and it was included. You're seeing a lot of Power 5 right now out there after seeing like a year of Power 4 branding. And suddenly the Pac-12 logo is showing up alongside the SEC and the Big Ten. Teresa Gold, this is good. It's good for the Pac-12, because I think she can now go back with a straight face and say, look, we were a named defendant. We've suffered damages. We are paying our share to be part of the Power 5. How can you push us out and not give us a seat at the table? I think that's coming, Puck. I think that's going to be part of this. And I think in that way, the House settlement kind of helps the Pac-12 a little bit. And then Scott Barnes at Oregon State told me, as long as this clearinghouse has teeth, like if they've got investigative authority and the ability to come in and just hammer you if you circumvent the cap or you circumvent NIL, that he says at least it puts a cap on what Big Ten and SEC schools can spend. And now you can decide, how close to that can we get? Can we play Moneyball? Where do we need to spend? It makes it, a tangible thing, because before this, who knows what Ohio State spent to win the football national championship? Was it 20? Was it 40? We don't know.
You know what's going to be another gut punch? Speaking of college athletics, another gut punch for West Coast and Pac-12 fans is going to be, and I'm all here for it, is if the College World Series taking place in Omaha, it starts on Friday. And for those who don't follow college baseball, I get it. It's kind of on the back burner for a lot of sports fans. We talked about this last week. I've been all in on Oregon State. I want the chainsaw. I want everything. That's a great environment that they have in Corvallis. They have moved on. They have qualified for Omaha. They will be taking on Louisville in the first round, or their first matchup, which takes place on Friday. The other game is Coastal Carolina and Arizona. We could have an old Pac-12 championship between Arizona and Oregon State.
Yeah. Well, you've got UCLA, Arizona, and Oregon State among the lead.
That's right. I forgot about the other ones. But yeah, my fault.
You have more Pac-12 teams than former Pac-12 teams than SEC teams, and the SEC was crying and belly aching about access to this thing, how they need more teams in. Here Arkansas and LSU will play each other, and one of those schools is going to lose in that opening round game and be put into the losers bracket. Yeah. I looked at Oregon State's path here. They don't reseed this tournament. The 1 seed and the 2 seed, everybody on Oregon State's side of the bracket, it was massacre. And the cool thing about this bracket, Puck, is you look at the 8 teams that get to Omaha. None of them were there last year. There are 2 repeat teams in Omaha. And Oregon State was the only school among the 8 that are there that even made the super regional last year. So you're seeing sort of a shifting of the sands in college baseball where a lot is up in the air, and people are wondering, is this just a weird year? The last time this happened was 1957. So is this just a weird year where you got a lot of parity and there was no great team? Or because everybody's funding football and basketball, has it leveled out baseball to the point where Murray State can get in and punch alongside Arkansas and LSU? It's a really good question. I think Oregon State can get to the final. They got Louisville. I don't think that, Coastal Carolina and Arizona scare them. Mitch Canham, the Oregon State coach, they refused to dogpile after winning the Super Regional. And he, in 2007, he was a catcher on Oregon State's national title teams in 06 and 07. In 2007, Mitch Canham said there's one dogpile every season, and it's in Omaha. And he has continued that mantra with this team. They did a victory lap. They were happy to get to Omaha. But in the news conference afterwards, he said, we're happy to get there and we're going to go win it. And so go win it. I mean, I think they have a chance here to be in the final. I think it's Arkansas and Oregon State in the final. That's my pick.
And for people who want to watch Oregon State and Louisville this Friday, 6 o'clock on ESPN, 3 Pac-12 schools still, former Pac schools still in it. Oregon State, also Arizona, then UCLA and Murray State. Or no, Murray State's not in the Pac-12, but UCLA is, and they'll play on Saturday. So if you're into that and you want to watch it, you can tune in starting on Friday. All right, before we go, what's in the cooker at johncanzano.com? What should I
posted yesterday an update on the Pac-12 meeting. I posted it with 6 minutes left in that meeting. And it was interesting because I got immediate messages from people who were in the meeting going, how the heck are you in this meeting? But look, everybody's into what the Pac-12 is doing. It's their own damn fault. They've got a lot of stakeholders right now that want to know what's happening. So I will have the latest on the Pac-12. And then I've got, my college senior walking on Friday and Saturday as part of her graduation. I'm writing a column, Puck, what I learned while she was in college. That's coming down the pipeline. It'll be written with glassy eyes.
Okay, look forward to that. Appreciate it, John. I know it's going to be great work. And thanks for always coming on every week and moving your schedule around. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
buddy. Talk to you next week. Okay, there he is. John Canzano, johncanzano.com. All brought to you by Zeke's Pizza. Go read his work there at johncanzano.com, the best in the business. Follow him on the social media channels, John Canzano BFT. His radio show in Portland, 7:50 The Game from 3 to 6, Bald Face Truth. And again, he joins us every single week to talk all sports, Pac-12, college sports, everything. And Texas State, I don't know, doesn't do it for me, but whatever. At least it's something, I guess. Maybe UNLV comes back around. You never know. Quickly, one more time, if you're in Puck the Picker Majors pool contest, the third major starts tomorrow. Get your picks in, please. Get your picks in right now. Don't be late, especially if you're one of the leaders, because we've got a great leaderboard, by the way. I mean, fabulous leaderboard of people that are still in this thing. And so get your picks in and make sure that you get them in before tonight. Of course, grand prize is a stay and play package at Gamble Sands for two rounds of golf. You get to stay overnight. Second place is a foursome at Fairwood Golf and Country Club. Third place is a foursome at Mill Creek Country Club. Fourth place, you get a foursome at one of Seattle Premier's Troon courses now. And that's West Seattle, Jackson Jefferson, formerly Bill Wright, plus an hour-long top tracer range session. So make sure you get it in today. Your leaderboard looks like this. Brendan Limpsis. Sorry, Brendan, if I'm mispronouncing your name. Doug Lawrence. Doug is always in the YouTube chat, by the way, every single morning. Those are your leaders, but that's a pretty good leaderboard right there. All right? These guys are all in the mix for the grand prize 4-2 stay and play package at Gamble Sands. Where am I? I am all the way down there, 69th. Way down. I got no chance to win it. Thus, I can't win. Well, you know what? If I do win, I think I could just make myself the winner and go to Gamble Sands. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So get your picks in, pucksports.com. our Majors Pool contest, and all of our golf coverage, including our visit every single week with Travis Fulton, all brought to you by Synthetic Turf Northwest. Please go visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com and get your father a wonderful Father's Day gift. Will you please? Again, no, the Tommy Bahama shirt doesn't cut it anymore. He doesn't want it, nor does he need another pair of cargo shorts, slacks, not a tie, because he's not going into work anymore. And even if he does go into work, they don't require ties anymore. He doesn't want that. I said it before, I'll say it again. Doesn't want a card thrown together 5 minutes before. He wants a brand new synthetic lawn from Synthetic Turf Northwest, and he wants a putting green so he can go back there in privacy, in his private, backyard, and be able just to hit putts when he wants to, okay? Get him a brand new backyard. He doesn't want to mow it anymore. He's tired of watering it, okay? Perfect Father's Day gift, Synthetic Turf Northwest, custom lawn installation, synthetic turf installation, and a putting green, syntheticturfnorthwest.com. Tell them Puck sent you, okay? They're going to give you a full meal deal when you do that. Big thanks to Synthetic Turf Northwest for sponsoring Travis Fulton and our golf coverage throughout the summer. All right, let's wrap it up with Hey, What the Puck, which is brought to you by one of our other fabulous sponsors. That would be Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. They're locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property, 206-817-8917, or visit them online, restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Just revisiting the Randy Johnson dual interview on Root Sports and then on 710 on the radio broadcast last night with Rick Riz. He obviously still has a lot of animosity for one particular person, and that's Howard Lincoln, who was the face of the franchise when he was here. Okay, he has made amends with the organization, especially this year, and I think Dan Wilson has probably a lot to do with it. And credit to John Stanton and Kevin Martinez, who he had mentioned, in both interviews of bridging that gap. There was a lot of hard feelings between Randy and this organization, and there is no doubt still hard feelings between himself and Howard Lincoln. Howard Lincoln was the face of an organization that many people then and still now despised. They despised Howard Lincoln, including Randy Johnson. I hope for everyone's sake. Now, what he did yesterday is what we used to call radio gold, because we're in the entertainment business, and that was entertaining. And he spoke his mind, and he did it on their broadcast, which they own. I hope for his sake and the organization's sake and the fans' sake that when he does address the fans next year, that it doesn't happen again, that he doesn't bring up Howard Lincoln. Because what if he does that, he's robbing himself, Randy Johnson, himself, the spotlight. And it should be about the fans. It should be about him. It should be about the teammates that he played with, all of that. Because it's his day. And my advice to Randy Johnson would be, as the CEO of the Puckett crisis firm, don't bring up his name. Don't articulate any hard feelings towards the organization. Take your day in. You've already got it off your chest a few times, and you probably will do it again. But that day should be for you, celebrating what you did here and celebrating the fans that supported you. And don't do anything that would take away from that. That's Hey, What the Puck, again, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your company that lets you avoid the stress of any damages to your commercial or residential property. They're locally owned, so give them a call. Tell them I sent you. They're the best in the business, and very professional, very courtesy there as well. 206-817-8917, 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. All right, thanks for everybody watching and listening today. Thank you to all our sponsors, Lindback Lumber, also Clean Streak, Georgetown Brewery as well, and, of course, Restoration One. Today's Daily Punch Drop. You can find it up on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Also find it on your favorite podcast platforms. Doesn't matter which one it is. Be sure to also check out pucksports.com. Get those picks in for the U.S. Open. Plus, join the Pucks Posse. You support everything that we do here. Plus, you get added and bonus shows that nobody else gets, like our coverage or MLB Insider with Ryan Divish that comes out on Wednesdays. Tomorrow's appearance with Mitch Levy that is live. Everyone gets to see it and listen to it during the live DPD. But once it's over, just Pucks Posse members can go back and watch or listen to Mitch Levy's appearance with us on Thursdays. And then the Sports Pit is out every Monday. KJR alum Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson, hour and 40 minutes this week, and a barrel of laughs. And, of course, now we produce the Garage with Gas Take 5 podcast right here on pucksports.com. You can find it on all your favorite podcast platforms and YouTube. Again, thank you for watching. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow, round 1 of the U.S. Open. It's a Thursday show. We'll hear from Mitch. We'll hear from Mike Garofolo and Brad Adam of Root Sports. We'll talk to you tomorrow. As always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rob you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!